We were talking last week. I'm going to bring Rich McKay on, the president, CEO of the Atlanta Falcons, who I've known for years, about how in a society today, not only are we seeing these fundamental changes, same-sex marriage, immigration, marijuana legalization, things not only happen now, but they happen overnight. Like overnight. It was just a few years ago, John Kerry, Karl Rove used it against him, same-sex marriage. Now it's 70-30, Americans in favor of it. And last year, the NFL said, Tony Romo, you cannot be in Vegas with a fantasy football draft event. It's in Vegas. We don't like casinos. A year later, Jerry Jones is saying, I think we should move a team to Vegas. And Rich McKay is joining us now. It is remarkable. Vegas was always a stigma. It was bad. It was gambling. It was the mob. Am I crazy, Rich, that it does feel like the owners and the smart people, yourself included, don't look at Vegas as harshly as you did even 2 or 3 years ago?
I think the point you make is accurate in that if you had brought up the discussion, I think, to anybody, let's just say 5 years ago, hey, do you think an NFL team is going to be in Vegas? I think the answer would have been no, and I don't think anybody was really even entertaining it. I just wasn't something that I ever heard, even a discussion of.
Right.
So it is interesting that the discussions now, and good for the people wanting to talk about it and at least verbalize it and discuss all the issues. Is it the right market? What are the gambling issues? Discuss it. As before, I would say, to your point, Colin, it probably was taboo that you just weren't going to do that.
Right. You've gone from, you have played the game. You have general managed the game. You are now a president. You see these big macro topics all the time. It is interesting that St. Louis to Los Angeles, it's an entertainment league. And frankly, Oakland to Vegas, it feels kind of like it's time. Rich, if you noticed, and this is not a criticism, that the NFL more than any league understands the value of television and entertainment.
Yeah, I think that television, I think, drove so much, Colin, of the growth of the league. If you look at Pete Rozelle and what the owners did in the 60s and into the 70s, and then you see what Paul Tagliabue did in the 80s, and then you see what Roger's done on the television side. Let's call it the broadcast side now because it's more than television. It's incredible. So that has always been something important to us. But let's remember, we're a league that had a team that left Houston, okay, and went to Nashville. And that was not television market-wise.
Right.
That was not a jump that somebody was looking at. And then we had an expansion one time where we said, okay, where are we going to expand? We did not expand it to St. Louis. We ended up expanding to Carolina and Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as much as you say that, I think that we have. It just depends on the timing of the situations. In this case, I'm still old school, so I still think one of the greatest things we have tried to do in the last 15 years, and I give both Paul and Roger as commissioners a lot of credit, is we have fought for franchise stability because we did lose a little control there,
yes,
in the 80s, and it made it very uncomfortable. As you know from our time in Tampa together, when the Tampa situation was going on, it was very hard for me. I lived there. I was a resident. I didn't want to see the team move, but quite frankly, it was pretty easy to move, and it was very lucrative to move. I think we've made it harder. I think we've made it better. I think it's a better system now. So I just hope, I'm one of those guys that hopes that franchises can stay, where they are, and if they can't, then move. But I hope they move after they've done everything they can.
It's interesting. You have the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium that's opening up in 2017. Are you at all concerned that between the Red Zone channel and the quality on NBC Sunday night and Fox, the broadcast is so darn good, Rich, that the in-stadium experience, especially when the weather gets cold, why should I go to a game?
I think I don't know that we're worried about it, but we certainly think about it every day. And I think that's where Arthur really challenged us when we went down the path of this new stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Colin, he said to us, hey, we're not trying to make this 10% better. We're not trying to make this 30% better. That's not good enough. We have to kind of reimagine the whole thing and make sure that we're providing an experience, not just for Falcon games or our soccer team, Atlanta United, not just for that, but for every event that's unmatched. And we've done some really cool things.
Like what? Like, give me something you guys did.
Okay, we have a halo board, okay, that hangs from the opening in the middle. So go on our website sometime and look at it, Mercedes-Benz.com, and you'll Stadium.com. You'll see it. So this Halo board, Colin, it's 63,000 square feet of contiguous LED, okay? So if you took both our Jumbotrons kind of in our end zones in the Georgia Dome, added them together, you get to 4,000 square feet. This is 63,000. So can you get that at home? No, you're not getting that at home. And then when you look at the live action, when we'll be able to put on that board, we'll be able to put live action, so you could look up and watch live action, but also we'll have individual cameras that will show Julio. So on this play, you could watch just Julio as he runs against the defense. You could watch another player as they either on offense or defense go. I mean, you can do a lot of things with all the visual you now have in the building. So we looked at it that way. We looked at it as though you do have to reimagine, and you have to make it for the fan to want to be in that stadium.
Yes.
Just get the basics right. Let them be able to walk around the whole stadium. It doesn't matter what ticket they have. They should be able to access everywhere. And what happened is we built these premium areas. We made it where people can't even walk around a building sometimes, and that just didn't feel right to us. So we really tried to look from the fans' perspective of how they want to consume the games, how they want to consume concerts, how they want to consume big events, and then tried to push ourselves to do as many of those things as we could in this building. I think we have.
Oh, that's exciting. New Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Rich McKay, a friend I've had for years and somebody, and your brother John, I've leaned on several times. You know, I thought of you during the draft because I said, listen, the league is changing. Come on, folks. Kickers now matter. Is that you take out a couple kickers and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's legacies aren't the same. And you give nothing against Scott Norwood, but Jim Kelly's legacy could be different with a couple of kicks. And when Tampa took a kicker, everybody said, this is outrageous. And I said, well, hold time out. We know they don't get hurt like other players. If he lasts 8 years, he'll be the all-time Tampa leading scorer. Is it possible that the kicker now is a really crucial part of football and we're struggling? Did the media overreact negatively to a team going out and getting a kicker that they thought was one of the best kickers in the last 20 years?
Yeah, so I think, Colin, were you there when we drafted Martin Gramatica?
Yes.
So when I was in Tampa, we drafted Martin in the third round. And why we did is because we had a team based on defense. We knew that we could play really good defense. We needed to not miss on any scoring opportunities. We just felt like, and we felt like he was the best kicker in the country. And when we did it, it's interesting how I had some scouts on my own staff, that came to see me the night before the draft and said, now we understand there's a chance, we're thinking about a kicker in the third round. That's just not right, and they were having a tough time wrapping their mind around it. Now, Tim and Jerry, who my personnel guys, they helped, support the decision and pushed it through for us. But we had a lot of people that in our own building that were questioning it. In my mind, you don't question those. If you like the player, if you believe in the player, that's an impactful player. I mean, when you line up from 46 yards away, it's meaningful that you get those 3 points. Yeah. So to me, I'm not one that says you should ever underestimate the value of a kicker.
By the way, you spearheaded the extra point move back, right? You were
10 years. We pushed it. 10 years, Colin. We
10
pushed
years?
it. It took a long. Yeah, sure. Our first proposal was 10 years ago. And the thing I like about the league is, for all the right reasons, we had a lot of people that pushed back on it. Oh, we've got tradition. Oh, you've earned the 7 points. Why are you putting the 7th point at risk? All these things. And our point all along was, hey, let's make the play competitive, and let's not make it ceremonial. We don't have ceremonial plays. Make it a real play. And I give the league credit. We voted it, but we got in barely. We did it for 1 year, and then this year when we went back to vote it again permanently, nobody voted against it.
Oh, God, it's great.
Yeah, so I thought it was is a credit to the league. I mean, that's how we do things. It takes us time sometimes, but people when they see it and it feels right, they embrace it.
Okay, so if I want to check out, this sounds unbelievable. Your stadium, new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So if I go to Mercedes-Benz.com, or what do I go to?
Mercedes-Benz-Stadium.com.
Okay.
You will see things in there, I will say, when you look at the Halo board, look at the window to the city, look at the bridges and hang, and you'll see some really cool things you're going to like.
Hey, great talking to you again, man.
Colin, good talking to you. Come see us.
Rich McKay, Atlanta Falcons president and CEO. Peter King named him last year one of the 10 most influential men in the NFL. I've known him and his brother for a long time. Really, really quality guys.